So my last day here in Mexico City this year. I've been here for a month so far, over 2 periods of this year. So I've been blessed to be able to come to Mass here and to pray in front of Our Lady of Guadalupe here in this Basilica. Many people might say, well, it's very modernist, it's very new. Well, this one here behind me, which was the old one, it's actually falling down. It's actually tipping. If you go in there, you can actually feel, because this area was a swamp at one stage, and all it takes is one strong earthquake for that to collapse, and then this is a lot more safe and structurally will be able to withstand an earthquake far easier, and is able to cope with the crowds. Anyway, what was coming to me in prayer? What is man's greatest battle? I was talking to somebody today about this. What is our greatest battle as men is our pride. Where men will literally die because we are too proud to admit we are weak, our problems, our condition. Men will live in darkness for years and years and years and not admit they have a problem, and not admit that there is I'm the strong man, I'm able to manage my own problems, I don't need help, I don't need anybody, I don't need to be vulnerable, I don't need to do this, I don't need to that. And the devil is so happy to keep our problems in here, going around and around and around, and not letting us have that freedom that comes from giving them to Christ. I suppose this is really where I'm asking men now, as we in Derry, as we go to Derry that day for adoration. Many people were the focus is on Christ. He's going to give the greatest speech to your heart, and go to confession that day. Go to confession and let Christ convert your heart. Believe that there's a power higher than yourself that's willing to help you in your struggles and in your battle and in your pain. And that's the message there. Always bells when I do videos. Yeah, so what time is it? 5 o'clock. And that's really the message. Christ is able to get in and work if we let him. If we believe that there's a power higher than ourselves that's able to come into our lives and change our lives. That's the faith. That's the faith. The faith is transformative. The faith, Christ says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. And we have to be humble as men to accept the grace that he is offering. We have to be humble. And when men see that we're living our faith together in Ireland, it's going to transform people. It transforms, because people will say, okay, well, why do you have hope? And yeah, I do have hope. Christ gives great peace. Christ gives immense peace, and it's when we start letting go of our problems, and that we're humble and vulnerable to let go of our problems and to lay them out and let go of them. Christ rushes in to fill that hole that we've been creating in our lives, that sometimes of despair, of depression, of anxiety, of fear, shame, whatever we're carrying, resentments and all these things. So the biggest killer for men is our pride, without a doubt. And if we let go of our pride as men, if we get down on our knees and adore our Lord, he'll start filling our lives. He'll start giving you a peace you cannot imagine. So that's the call. That's what I was getting here when I was at Mass here today. Man's biggest problem is our pride, and now it's time, if we want to renew the faith in Ireland, to let go of that pride, completely root it out of ourselves. And I know it's not easy. It's not easy for me, but it's the only way that Christ can work in our soul. It's the only way he can start transforming us, if we really let go of that pride. Go to confession regularly, and let our Lord renew you. Let the Sacred Heart of Christ, the beating heart of Christ, the body, blood, soul and divinity of the Eucharist renew your soul. But he can only work if we're humble. There's no other way. There's no secret way that Christ can get into your soul unless you invite him in and said, Lord, come in here. I give you everything. I confess everything, and I want your forgiveness, and I want you to transform my life. And it's exciting time, and just pray for that. So this is the meditation. Maybe men can start thinking about this as we get nearer that day. There won't be any speech, because there's no greater speech than Christ can give to your soul in adoration. There is no greater orator. There's no greater spiritual leader. There's no greater person in the church than Christ himself in the Eucharist, transforming our hearts as men. So that's the meditation. Anyway, God bless. I'm heading back to Ireland now. I'll arrive tomorrow evening. But I just came to Our Lady here in Guadalupe to say goodbye, and she always brings me back here. I don't know how it always happens, but it's 28 years now since first time I arrived in 1994. It's been 28 years since I've kept coming back again and again and again, hundreds of times to this place. So it means a great deal to me, and I've been praying a lot for all the men that will be coming to the adoration, and because that will renew our families, will give hope to other men. The depression, the anxiety, the fear, the shame, all these things that keep destroying men's lives. You don't need to live that. You don't need to live that. Come with us, join us, pray with us. Ireland will be transformed from Derry if we're humble enough to let Christ into our soul. And that's the great mystery also of Medjugorje, how Christ is able to work in souls if we're humble enough to let him in. And it's a mystery. I don't know how it works, but nobody has all the answers, only Christ. Anyway, God bless. Take care. Bye bye.